What's going on? This is Damon, coach of the Cincinnati Bengallades, bringing you post-draft, preseason power rankings. I don't know what to call it. Same thing we did last season, except this time I have a different guy. He's my co-assistant, lieutenant, backup, assistant, I already said that, analyst, whatever, Wiley Wishcash, otherwise known as Willow, and coach of the Cheeky Landos.
What's going on, guys? Wiley Wishcash here. Yeah.
Perfect. Alright, so a few disclaimers before we get started. One, we are not professional analysts, we are professional idiots. So none of this is meant to say, none of this is meant to be like groundbreaking or like the law. This is just like how we think everyone's.
Or quaking, am I right?
Yes, you are right because you have a Landers T as your mascot.
Oh, true. No, Landers T. Well,
is it?
Actually, I have
no, it's Landers T.
Because...
Whatever, Coach Chicolandos, whatever. As you can see, not professionals. Just don't take anything we say too seriously. Second of all, these are not playoff predictions. This is an important one. We are not predicting this is going to be like the end of the season, like positions. I'm not saying that number 11 and number 10 are going to get demoted to beta. This is just how we think everyone's draft played out, and it has a little bit of emphasis on player skill and using certain things, but that shouldn't play out too heavily, just kind of what everyone drafted. And third is that there is only one list this week because we are going to show off everyone's different teams. They're kind of a collab effort between me and Mr. Wiley Wishcash, and I will not be on the list because it was made by me originally, and then I was too lazy to make myself a page and put myself wherever Mr. Wiley Wishcash thought I was.
And I'm on the list, but we can completely ignore that because you'll see.
Not yet, though, because we are going to go right into our number 11, and that is Bob, coach of the San Antonio Sprouts. You can see his team on the page there. Megalodon C, Manaphy, Jirachi, Celebi, Magneton, Lickilicky, Gligar, Emboar, Salamence, Zoroark, and Coffagregus.
The thing is, I actually quite like this team. It's just not very good.
Bob.
If that makes sense. Well, no, it's good, but it's not good.
Yeah, I think that's honestly my main thing. If you've seen the bottom, he's got 3 little fairies lined up, or pixie Pokemon as they're called, 100 base stats all around. And my main problem with this is that they are versatile, but that is also a hindrance because he has not a lot of bulk on his team. As you can see, he has Coffagregus and Gligar as designated physical walls, which means he is generally going to be referring to one of these 3 as a special wall. And although they are decent special walls, they do not always have the best of recovery or the best of what you would want out of a wall, such as status moves.
If we look at Mega Diancie, it's basically only got, 5 moves with your Diamond Storm, Moonblast, Earth Power, and then you run like Protect or Hidden Part Fire. That's basically it. You can't really run anything else. And with Manaphy as well, yeah, there's Calm Mind or Tail Glow, but you're basically going to run Tail Glow like 90% of the time, let's be honest.
You're doing the same thing every time unless you're Bob, in which case you don't. Spoiler alert, this is after some of the matches have been played. It does not affect the rankings because the rankings are made before the matches.
True.
But I think that's all we have to say about Bob. I would like to mention that he has made some changes. We'll see if that changes up later, but as of right now, this is his team right after the draft, and it is not very good. Next up, we have my co-host's team, which is why he said don't worry about it.
Yeah,
Cheeky Landos at number 10.
This isn't gonna happen.
Like I said, it's not positioning predictions, and he has been making some changes, but as it for his team, right after the draft, it is not very good at all, and I will point to you the main reasoning for this, and it is Mega Charizard X, Terrakion, and Excadrill. 3 physical attackers with less than 110 speed, and each of them are weak to ground. Now, I will say he has some immunities, notably in Rotom Heat and Togekiss, and Resistance in Chestnut, but he has already said to me that he will not be bringing Chestnut because, quote-unquote, Chestnut is bad.
Basically, since I drafted my team, I've decided I hated half of it and I don't really like my draft, so I'm going to end up switching quite a bit of it around.
And how can you do good when you hate your draft? That is
There
why
are some
he
that
is
I
low.
really do love though. Like Meloetta, I'm really happy with. Meloetta's amazing. I'm really excited to use
Meloetta, one of the high points of the draft. He's also shown he knows how to use Lantern, so we'll see how that works out. But a lot of physical pressure and not a lot of special pressure. Doesn't really have a whole lot of balls since he refuses to bring Chestnut. So again, we'll see how the changes play out. We'll see if that changes anything in the following weeks when we will actually have 2 lists, and I will be able to rank him on my own. But we can only assume based on his draft right after the draft. That was amazing wording. I'm applauding myself. And his draft right after the draft was crap.
Rip me.
Next up, number 9 is that's number 11. Leesports Lizardons, coached by Hayden. I am professional, like I said. He has Mega Sableye, Victini, Milotic, Hitmonchan, Raikou, Shaman, Donphan, Mr. Mime, Yanmega, Glaceon, and Goodra.
His team is, like, it has so much promise. Like, Victini, Milotic, Raikou, they're all, and Shaman, they're all really good actually, Shaman's decent, it's not great. But they're, like, really good Pokemon, but then, like, the rest of the draft just lets it down so much, I feel. Like,
he doesn't have a whole lot of special attacking pressure. I feel like Raikou is supposed to create constant pressure, but something that he has said himself is that Raikou is overrated, it's overexpensive for what it brings to the table. Sure, it's fast, sure, it hits hard, but you can get something similar out of, say, Manectric or Jolteon, which costs far less and allows you to do far more with your team. Heliolisk. Again, I have that on my team, which you will not see because I did not rank myself, etc. We already went over this. Doesn't have the best physical attacking pressure. He said he wants Victini to be MVP this season since I used it so poorly before. Correction, I didn't use it at all. So Victini and Donphan and Hitmonchan are basically his physical attacking pressure, since Sableye doesn't really bring any attacking moves because it's literally just a Sableye. Usually brings Calm Mind and statuses.
Calm Mind, Dark Pulse, and Shadow Ball, but it's pretty easy to counter. You kind of just know what it's going to do.
Mm-hmm. It is only weak to Fairy type, which some teams struggle to find a good one, but he has Mr. Mime, which is not. It's basically a discount Gardevoir. Less coverage, less bulk, and less speed.
However, most teams do have a Fairy type this season. That was pretty cool to draft pretty quickly.
The only other thing I'm going to say about his draft is that 2 of his walls, namely Donphan and Goodra, do not have any reliable recovery, and he has no Wish Passers on his team outside of Mr. Mime, which has no bulk unless it runs an Assault Vest, in which case it cannot Wish Pass because it has an Assault Vest.
So
Another thing that he has said, he wants Yanmega to do good things this season. Yanmega is a mon that can do well as long as you can keep rocks off, which is why he has Hitmonchan and Donphan. I don't know if that Hitmonchan gets Rapid Spin, but
it does.
Speed boost from the Yanmega could lead to good results. I'm not going to say anything, but in the past, Hayden has performed mediocrely, and this team is pretty mediocre. So, number 9 is where we will put him now. Rip indeed. Now, on to number 8, we have Boo and the San Francisco 49 Tails, rocking Mega Scizor, Weavile, Mandibuzz, Druddigon, Seismitoad, Alakazam, Gengar, Azumarill, Flareon, Jolteon, and Amoonguss.
Those evolutions.
2 of them.
Gen 1 evolutions.
Whole 2 of them.
Oh, that's slightly higher than I can count. His team has no real bulk, though, other than Mandibuzz, Amoonguss,
and Seismitoad, yes.
Oh, Seismitoad.
Does Seismitoad have reliable recovery?
Nope.
Just rest. Mm-hmm. So while he has immense physical pressure from Azumarill, Weavile, and Mega Scizor, there's not a whole lot he can really back that up with. His only switcher, pivot, I believe the word is Jolteon. And although Amoonguss does have Regenerator, basically you put up rocks, Mandibuzz isn't going to come in all that often. Seismitoad is...
and Scizor as well, U-turning.
Oh, correct. So Scizor, he's got some pivots, he's got some good offensive pressure, but the problem is his defense isn't able to keep up with that. pressure. And then he has Gengar and Alakazam, who are pretty much like the same mon with different typing.
Not Alakazam, Kadabra.
Oh, Kadabra. Oh my
worse.
gosh. Now it's even worse. Ladies and gentlemen, I miscounted spoons. 2 is higher than I can count, because it only has 1.
Other than Gengar as well, like, Kadabra's not, it's not the best special attacker. It's basically just Gengar, and that's, it's a glass cannon, it's gonna die easily.
Same with Jolteon, very weak to Earthquake, and although he has a notable physical wall called Mana Buzz that can switch in, if you have Rocks up, and most ground types do get Rocks, then it's not going to want to switch in and take that 25%.
Yeah, his team is quite Rocks weak. What do they, other than Mana Buzz, what does he have to get them away?
I don't believe he has Defog
Scizor.
and Mega Scizor.
But you don't really want to run Defog Mega Scizor, let's be honest.
Mega Scizor is an interesting mon, which is a lot better when utilized offensively, but it so often has to be utilized defensively just because of that amazing typing and resistances.
That was me last season when I had it, because I ended up not bringing it to... I think I brought it to like 2 matches, and I lost one of them, and it was like the only match I lost. And after that, I just didn't bring Scizor because it ended up just being a burden, pretty much.
Yes. It has some good moves, but it kind of gets stuck in a middle point where it can't do either role as well, and that 4 times weakness to fire kind of lets it up. Although great typing, it has great potential, it just hasn't really lived up to that potential yet in the season. So we'll see if Boo can change that. After all, he did use Mega Camera Ups better than we would have expected, which is still not very good, but it's Mega Camera. So we'll see if he has any tricks up his sleeve for Mega Scizor and the rest of his team. But moving right along, at the number 7 spot, we have Blaze in Manchester United. He has a Mega Lopunny on his team, has a Mega, and then a Kyurem Black, Sandslash, Registeel, blanked the name for a second, Nidoking, Entei, Superior, Hitmonlee, Slowbro, Crobat, and I believe Electrode.
Mm-hmm.
Hard to tell because Electrode and Voltorb are literally the same mon.
I liked Blaze's team last season a lot more than this one, I'll be honest. Like, his team last season was so nice. This one's, it starts off real good, Kyurem Black, Slowbro, Entei, Crobat, Mega Lopunny. That's really nice. But
Good versatility.
everything else from there, I'm kind of just, I don't like Registeel, don't like Sandslash. Nidoking could be decent, yeah. Mega Lopunny, very standard. Same with Superior, there's not much you can do with them. They have 1 or 2 sets, basically.
#same set squad, SSS. And he has said that he will not really be using Nidoking this season, that's kind of Kyurem Black's role. And so that kind of takes out a lot of his only ground type and a lot of ground pressure. Ground type is a very good offensive typing, but without it, you lose a lot of coverage that you could have. It becomes really hard to hit steel types. And speaking of steel types, Registeel has no reliable recovery and is his only really dedicated, especially bulky mon, unless he has some sort of weird Entei set, which I don't even believe is possible.
No. His Nidoking as well, I don't see really why I drafted it. He already had a poison type, he already had a ground type, which, because he franchised Sandslash, didn't he?
Mm-hmm. He did. And Sandslash not exactly known for its offensive capabilities, more known for Rapid Spin and Stealth Rocks.
Yeah.
Kind of the worst Don fan, if you will.
And it's a decent Rapid Spinner, I guess. His team is quite Rocks weak as well, with Kyurem, Entei, and Crobat.
And those being 3 of the main things I want to switch in and take hits, being some of the more bulkier things in his team. The only other notable thing here is that Slowbro, while fantastic, is only bulky in the physical side, so you can't exactly bring that as a special wall. And so he's not really going to have a whole lot to do with special attackers. We said Registeel's only dedicated once, but Registeel is League 2. 2 main special attacking types, Fire and Fighting. So Focus Blast and Flamethrowers hit very hard, will basically tear through this thing, and he has nothing to wish past to it. Meaning it will stay dead, basically.
Yeah, it's a shame. To be fair, he could run Spadef Nidoking, and that would actually... it actually pairs quite nicely with Slowbro.
If it happens, you heard it here first, folks. Professional analysts, like I said. But he does have some powerhouses, most notably Kieran Black and Megalopunny. So we'll see if he can make any magic happen this season. Did pretty well last season, made it to semis, I believe. We'll see what happens this season. But moving right along, we're going to have our number 6, and this is where we start talking good about the teams, maybe. It's Raymond, coach of the Rotterdam Raptors, who drafted Mega Altaria, Talonflame, Gourgeist to repeat, and Polion, I believe, another repeat. Then Nidoqueen.
Ramon or Raymond? I didn't.
I pronounce it Raymond because it rhymes with Damon, and therefore it's cool, but it's probably Ramon.
Oh.
Just like we pronounced corn instead of Corneille.
I don't even know. I really like Ramon's. I'm gonna say Ramon. I really like Ramon's team though. Although I'm not fond of Mew because it's like it's kind of turned into a gimmick. Like everyone wanted to draft it first.
Very gimmick. Everyone kind of runs defensive. People say it can do everything, but it can't do everything well.
Yeah, it does everything mediocrely. Like it's basically a filler. If you get what I'm saying.
Which kind of works well for his team because he got a lot of roles that he could use filled if he decides to not bring certain things. Mega Altaria is fantastic. It has a couple setup moves, including Cotton Guard and Dragon Dance, and has fantastic typing.
Mega Altaria, but,
does have fantastic typing. Polion, decently specially bulky, gets Stealth Rocks and Defog. There's not a whole lot to say about it. It's really kind of a good team all around. Miltank is good.
That was an amazing thing. Miltank is amazing.
Miltank is very good, very underrated, very physically bulky and hits pretty hard, has good recovery. Stealth Rocks as well. And Thick Fat, which gives it actual resistances.
And it gets
How about that?
Sapsicker as well?
I'm not sure, but that sounds plausible.
It does get Sapsicker, I know this for a fact. I had it last season, it was amazing.
He doesn't have too many repeat typings, double water and double flying, I believe, but Zapdos doesn't have many flying moves, so that's okay, and they attack on different sides of the spectrum. Very good offensive, and he has some very good Pokemon, Empoleon, Gourgeist, Zapdos, Mew, Miltank, and maybe even Nidoqueen are all going to be able to tank a few hits and deal good damage back. He has good hazard control. I have no idea what Quillfish is going to do. That's why it's there in the middle, looking angry and big and pixelated.
That's my favorite.
Sneasel. Always something that people underestimate.
Yeah,
Ice type is fantastic type.
And it's a good knockoff user, which he didn't have.
Prior to that, knockoff. Yes, knockoff considered the best move in League format by a lot of people.
Best move.
I was gonna name names, but I don't know names. Yeah, not much else to be said about his team. He did all right last season. I believe he has the potential to be great. He is a good coach. He's played well in the past. We'll see if this is the team that leads him to greatness or inspirational speech, yada yada. Moving on, number 5, Gavin, coach of the Rio Lake of Rage, otherwise known as Gavin Senpai. He has Tornadus Therian, Mega Medicham, Dugtrio, Rotom Cut, Scolipede, that's a highlight, Doublade, Rapidash, wanted to say Ponyta, but it's Rapidash, Clefable, Hydreigon, Blastoise, and Regice.
I quite like his team, but it's... you know?
This is one of those teams where you look at and you don't see anything too great until you notice Scolipede, and you think about what he can do with Scolipede. Notably, Mega Medicham and Hydreigon are very strong attackers in their respective typings, coverage, and special/physical. I don't know what to call that. Good attackers in their realm, but they have been balanced because they are naturally slower than a lot of counters. Hydreigon having, I believe, around 80 or 90 speed, and Mega Medicham having 100. And then you realize...
95.
Something like that, yeah. And then you realize Scolipede comes in, protects, and then Baton passes into a bulkier set from Hydreigon and Medicham, and all of a sudden, those two Mons outspeed everything now, because they have a speed boost passed on from Scolipede. And because we play in Ubers, there's no Baton Pass clause, so it can't pass the Swords Dance to that Medicham if it needs more attack, which it does not, because it has pure power, and we already know how I feel about pure power. Good coverage. This is one that we're kind of shakier on, because Gavin has shown real promise in the past, and he has also had some bad games. He doesn't have the best defense, doesn't have the best offense, but I really think that he's going to pull off that Scolipede combo very well, and maybe use Dugtrio as kind of a setup into that. So maybe trap something, get a status off on maybe a critical attacker before dying, or just, wall something to death with Blastoise or Doublade.
His walls, other than Clefable, have no recovery. The Blade, Blastoise, and Regice, so they'll be depending on Clefable a lot for Wish passing, which, it's not great.
So yes, this is probably our most unsure pick, I like to say, just because a lot of potential with that Scolipede pass, and Tornado's Therian, and Mega Medicham and Hydreigon, notably. But also, it could very easily fall apart if he does not use it correctly. So we're trusting in Gavin to do well this season, back us up. If he does not, you will see him drop very quickly.
Yeah.
Nailed it. Number 4, Xavier, coach of Dallas Victory Stars.
I don't think he should be number 4, I'm going to be honest, I think he should be a little bit higher.
The reason we're putting him this low is because his team is a little bit shaky, and I'm going to read off that team right now. Cobalion, Mega Absol, Vaporeon, Weezing, Togetic, Diggersby, otherwise known as Ty, Arcanine, Galvantula, Latias, Tangrowth, and Medicham.
I actually really like his team. It's grown on me. Just looking at his defensive core, Tangrowth, Vaporeon, and Arcanine, the Fire Water Grass is really, really nice. He's got Webs and Galvantula. That Weezing is really nice. Diggersby is underrated, if you ask me. Balion is a great rock setter. It's also a different kind of Volt Switcher, so it's all nice for priority, and it hits really hard as well, and it's bulky. And then there's Latias. Latias it's decent, but
Latias is fantastic, not just decent. Mr. Monkey Man does not seem to believe in the Latias, but they are very good, I will tell you from first-hand experience.
I just like Latios more than Latias.
That's true. Xavier is a fantastic coach. He has been known to have amazing regular seasons, but hasn't really made it far when it comes to the playoffs. I believe he hasn't won a single standard playoff match, although I believe he has won some cheeky third and sixth place matches. I don't know. This doesn't really seem like a Xavier kind of team to me. It seems kind of more going back to a defensive standards than going to offensive. Typically, his first 3 seasons teams really kind of focused on offensive mons, whereas this one kind of seems to focus a little bit more on defense with some slower offensive mons, such as Diggersby and Medicham. It does have sticky webs for that, but I don't know, I've never really seen Galvantula shine. Maybe he'll be able to find the teams that can't rapid spin away that sticky web, such as my team. Or maybe Galvantula will just get crapped on. Maybe. I don't know. I do believe that Xavier is one of the best coaches in the league. Even though the playoff record hasn't really shown it, he's done very well in regular season. He's always played well. He's always made safe plays and outplayed opponents. Might go up depending if someone else has a bad season, such as the next person, but I won't go into that yet. And the only other thing I'm going to mention about his team is Mega Absol. The reason you don't see Mega Absol because the first turn of Mega, it has base 70 speed as opposed to the base 110 or 115 they gave it. And it also is only Mono Dark typing, which does not give you the best offensive typing coverage. However, it does give you one of the strongest knockoffs in the game. You protect, then you knock off /Sucker Punch /Pursuit, and the mind games are there, basically. Xavier's always been good at mind games.
It's a difficult one to use.
So we'll see if Xavier can pull that off. Big promises from him.
Professional yawn.
Professional yawn. We're gonna quickly take a break for a professional yawn.
No, I did it. I'm ready to go now.
Alright, back from the intermission. Next up, number 3. Michael in the Green Bay Palkias rocking a Terrakion. Not Terrakion.
No.
Can you read the team off? I'm terrible. For some reason I combined Volcanion and Landorus Therian. I don't know why. But Volcanion, new this season, very good. He also has a Mienshao, Skuntank, Dusk Noir, Scizor, Mega Abomasnow, Porygon 2, Reuniclus, Electros, and Archeops.
other than Mega Abomasnow, his team is pretty fantastic, and well, Dusk, well, I really like it. Volcanion is such a hard hitter, and it pairs really. Oh my god, another yawn. Pairs really nicely with Scizor, both resisting each other's weaknesses, or at least like being neutral to it.
He has a very good offensive core in Scizor, Volcanion, and Landorus, and some pretty good defensive mons in Porygon 2 and Renobliss. Does kind of leave him exposed, but both of them only have a few weaknesses, and they cover each other pretty well. Same as his defensive core, which is also pretty bulky.
I also like his Volt Turn in Mienshao and Electros, because I really like Electros, the slow Volt switching, and it's so versatile. And Mienshao can hit so hard with like Reckless high jump kick.
Or can have Regenerator in case it misses a high jump kick.
True. It's a difficult mon to break down. He's got a Regenerator core as well, and Mienshao and Reuniclus.
Yeah, Regenerator, one of the best abilities in the game. Not as renowned as Knockoff, but you know, it's always good. Volcanion, again, untested. It's likely to function similar to Heatran, hit a little bit harder, be a little bit less tanky. Similar speed tiers, and some pretty good coverage. Missing, I believe, Thunderbolt, but other than that, it has pretty much all the standard special attacking moves. Poison type, Fire type, Water type, and Focus Blast. It has Ground type, Earth Power. It's something, yes, Heatran has that. It has Earth Power, which is very good because that's something that Fire doesn't really hit very well. I don't know what I'm talking about. Ignore that statement. Professional analysts. Let's talk about Archeops. Not really seen in League format because of its terrible ability called Defeatist. It has amazing stats until you realize that once it gets below 50% health, the stats are halved.
It's a good lead. I'm pretty sure it gets Endeavor. It gets Stealth Rocks as well. It's really fast.
110 speed, yes.
Yeah,
fastest
you know,
in...
that's decent considering it's a tier D pick.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we'll see
so, you know,
if that does anything.
I don't think it's a bad pick.
Definitely one of the better D tiers out there, just because it is good for a short period of time. Another thing to be said about Electros, it is pretty bulky, very versatile, although it does not hit very hard unless the move is super effective.
Well,
but the thing about being
115 attack and 110 special attack, that's pretty decent.
Are you sure?
Yep, 100% sure.
I'm going to check this, ladies and gentlemen. We have professional analysts doubting each other.
You can check this. I know.
I was going to say that I believe it has around 80 stats in almost every category.
It's 85 HP, 115 attack, 80 defense, 105 special attack, 80 special defense.
I have been lied to. Electros is fantastic.
Electros is amazing. Why do you think I drafted it so early last season?
I didn't pay attention to your draft last season much because he didn't do too well. Because all the forfeits. You said your draft was bad.
It was bad, but I made it good.
Big talk. Oh yeah. Michael didn't do too well last season, but he did have promise as one of the newer coaches. We'll see if he does well in a smaller league now. It is round robin, so we play everyone once. So that's something I did not mention. But good offense, good defense, good versatility, a lot of damage. See how it does this season. Alright. Next up, we add a last-second change to this on request from my assistant analyst, whatever I call it. I don't know what to call it. I'll be able to call him co-host once he actually has his own list, but right now he's lieutenant assistant backup Monkey Man.
Just call
/ Wily Cash.
We're no longer Monkey Man. We do not talk about Monkey Man.
He was a Monkey Man. Now he is a Wily Cash.
I was a monkey that evolved into a catfish. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, evolution theory. Next up, number 2, Corneille, or Nietzsche, or however you pronounce that in Dutch. Or
you don't pronounce
is it German?
You just don't. It's Dutch, but you just don't try. You just
Alright, so Corneille, coach of the Portland Typhlosions, the runner-up from last season. Drafted a pretty different team this season. He has Roserade, Mega Houndoom, Crocodile, Staraptor, Dusclops, Sylveon, Fortress, Rotom Wash, Latios, not Os, Os, Hariyama, and Klinklang.
This is a team I can get behind, kind of, ish. It's so weird when I see his team, because I see Latios, Latios is very good, yeah. I like him more than Latias. Rotom Wash, I think, is severely overrated. Roserade, I don't think is very good. Krookodile is good, yeah. Hariyama, there are so many better fighting types. Kling Clang, it's shift gear, that's, Mega Houndoom, if you ask me, is just bad. Sylveon, I don't know.
He did prove last season, in his first season, he's a fantastic coach, making it all the way to the finals with our only other unranked person, who shall remain unnamed as of now, although I'm pretty sure everyone knows who he is. I personally think Roserade, it might be Pikachu. Personally think that Roserade and Rotom Wash are very good. Rotom Wash has Pain Split and Will-O-Wisp, two of the best moves in the game. Not really, but Will-O-Wisp is very good. He has Slow Volt Switch, as mentioned by Electros, which is surprisingly good, something I didn't think was the best. Hariyama, again, not very good. Same with Dusclops and Kling Kling, but the rest of the team, not something to shake a stick at. Good offensive power on physical and special side, and decent bulk. He has shown he knows how to use Fortress and avoid that 4x weakness to fire. And regular Houndoom has Flash Fire, so if you're able to switch in before you have to Mega first turn, and it is Mega first turn, which is why you don't see a Mega Sharpedo, it does have Flash Fire.
Pretty good.
Mega Houndoom's ability isn't the greatest, but it does get a good, decent special attack boost and speed boost, so it has Nasty Plot in case it needs that. Honestly, this is a team that could go very well or to kind of end up mediocre. If he can show the same prowess he showed last season, he may just eat very well, might make it to finals again. However, if my colleague proves right, he could just kind of fall apart and not have the recovery or just the damage he needs to.
Yeah, it's just as soon as Sylveon goes down, I just don't like his team. It's got no decent recovery.
That is something that is shared by our number one team, which is why these were very close. But yeah, we're just going to go ahead and put our number one out there, and that is Burke, last season's champion, and the previous champion in Season 2, and the coach of the New England Patriots, a Season 1 team, one of the only ones remaining. He has Infernape, a new addition, Deoxys Speed, we'll get back to that, Miss Magus, Umbreon, Aromatisse, Tyrantrum, Mamoswine, Electivire, Mega Pidgeot, Tentacruel, and Fortress.
I do not know why we have allowed Deoxys Speed in this. It's ridiculous.
So, for those of you who don't know, Deoxys Speed has a base 180 speed, the fastest in the game by a very good margin, and outspeeds literally everything in League format right now, and even outspeeds a lot of Scarfers under base 100 speed, which is a lot of things that want to Scarf, and it has good coverage. However, the reason we allowed it in is because most people are idiots, and it only has 90 special attack, but that's not important.
Yeah. It still gets, Psycho Boost. Is Psycho Boost base 140?
I believe so. Functions similar to Overheat, and once you use it, your special attack will be halved. It also has decent physical coverage, including Superpower, which you'll see used in an early match with Burke.
Yeah, but
that did not influence us putting him at number one. I would like to reiterate, these rankings were made pretty soon after the draft, and then edited by my colleague a little bit after the draft, but
if you want to see that round one match, it'll be up on my channel in the next week.
Yes, I didn't say this. Subscribe to Monkey Man, not Wily Wishcash. Subscribe to I Am Monkey Man.
No, I Am Monkey Man is no longer a channel.
It totally is.
Wily Wishcash.
Yeah. Burke, again, fantastic battler, champion. Has good mons. You know how to use Infernape. Deoxys Speed is untested, but supposedly has great things in store. Just one of the better mons. Good physical selection, good physical attacker selection. And the one reason that we had trouble placing him and Corn at number 1 and number 2 is because of their cores. Burke has Umbreon, and Corn has Sylveon. And it honestly comes down to which one can keep the other walls alive better.
Well,
is Sylveon going to be able to sustain that Fortress and Rotom Walk?
Umbreon and Aromatisse, though.
That's true. Aromatisse, and that's honestly why we kind of put Burke at number 1, because of that Aromatisse adds a little bit extra bulk that Corn doesn't really have.
Yeah,
along with the fact along with the fact that Electivire and Mamoswine and Tyrantrum and Mismagius have all been known to tank at least one hit before going down.
Mm-hmm.
Tentacruel, very good Rapid Spinner, and a decent setup with Acid Spray, can force a switch. He has Volt Switch, or U-Turn, or whatever frickin' Electivire runs. Very strong physical attackers in Infernape, Mamoswine, and Tyrantrum. And special attack from Mega Pidgeot and Yox's Speed. Mega Pidgeot not really used. See if you can use it. It's got pretty standard set every time, but it does abuse that set very well. No-Guard Hurricane is very scary.
He's just, like, his team is just decent all around. He's not missing anything.
There's no real exploitable flaws, which is something that Burke has done very well with drafting in the previous seasons. He has always drafted teams with not very many flaws, and that has led them to 2 championships so far, and we'll be able to see if he gets led to a 3rd. But I think that's about it for our rankings. Anything more you want to say, Mr. Wiley Wishcash?
No.
Alright. I don't know when this is going to go up. It all kind of depends on Raymond, our leader, the leader of the ISL channel, but we'll see. We'll probably be back in a few weeks with our after Week 1 rankings, or do we call them Week 1 rankings? I believe we do.
Yeah.
With actual rankings and actual battles to draw from, with actual use of these actual teams drafted by actual people.
There's so much actual stuff going down.
It's amazing. But yeah, post-draft preseason rankings, Season 4, brought to you by me and Wiley Wishcash. Subscribe to I Am Monkey Man. Yeah, I think that's about it. If you have your own rankings, you can leave them in the comments if you want. Feel free to critique us. I am very open to criticism because I know that...
Put me first in the comments, plus.
You can even rank me if you want, because we did not rank me. But we will have 2 lists coming up. We will not be showing the full teams. We will have little fancy GBA bars. We will have 2 separate sides. One for him and one for me. And yeah, look forward to that in the future if you want. But yeah, that's about it. So I don't have an outro. So adios.
Ready for this?
Alright, go ahead, go.
Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye.